incredibly proud of its relationship with the Anti Academies Alliance and very pleased to provide the support that we can to the Anti Academies Alliance. We all know this fight is an incredibly serious fight. I think the President this morning talked about, the attacks on the NHS and the attacks on state education being one and the same. We know how serious this fight is. Christine's given apologies tonight. She's at the show races and the red card meeting, but the commitment is there for continued support for the Anti Academies Alliance and with all NUT members for carrying on the fight in every way that we can. We know, all of us know, how hard it is. We know how many fights we haven't won. Not because head teachers want to go down the academies road, but because they're being pressurised and bribed into it, not because there's any ideological commitment to go experiment on our schools and on our children. But we also know there are successes. Sudbourne Primary, Stoke Newington School have stopped the race to academies in their schools during the course of this year. Tile Hill in Coventry couldn't stop becoming an academy but had strike action paid for by the NUT and by the NASUWT, which means that they've won national pay and conditions. So there are fights we can win in these individual situations, even though they're very difficult. But what I want to say is, both free schools and forced academies gives a whole new chance for us to open up and defeat the government on these questions. So on forced academies, for example, we have new allies on forced academies and on free schools. On free schools, for example, at the ASCL conference, the Association of School and College Lecturers, which is not anti-academy, which has many heads who've gone the academy route, where they're part of academy roadshows, almost encouraging people to do it. But at their conference just last week, Brian Lightman, who's the General Secretary of ASCL, describes the free school policy as immoral. And that's a really big statement from them. There is a new chance, because academy heads are speaking out against free schools being opened up in their area. The Beccles Free School is a threat to a school that's become an academy. It was a good community school, it's still a good school now that it's an academy. Gove is forcing a free school into that area, which will destroy the school. So there are new allies that we have in these situations, and we have to make every opportunity to use those new allies. And we see it in the forced academies. David Lammy is not against academies. He's against forced academies, and there's a new opportunity, and there are new allies that we can reach out to and work with. Now, I think that forced academies shows up, and more than anything, the thing that's made this show up is the strength of the Downhills campaign and the strength of Julie Davis in Haringey in supporting this. Because what they have done is brought to everybody's attention in the whole country that academies, forced academies, are a transparent attempt to transfer Downhill School to a private chain that's running lots of other schools. Transparent privatisation. We have an opportunity here to make that charge stick in a way it's been more difficult to on the other cases. The fact that parents here don't want this, that the school is popular, that it's been doing well, and Gove is going in, getting rid of governing bodies, rid of the governing body at Downhills, rid of the governing body at Noel Park, and forcing them into private chains makes the argument about privatisation so much easier to win. And all of us have to look for forced academy campaigns in our areas to run and to make them like, Che Guevara said, 1, 2, 3, many Vietnams. We need 1, 2, 3, many Downhills. We need them across the country, and there is a real opportunity to do it. I think the other thing that Downhills parents have exposed by their campaign is the intensely political nature of Ofsted and Ofsted judgments. It makes the point that there is no objective judgment going on of our schools. It is a political operation by Gove to fail schools in order to privatise them. The question is, what more can we do? We're doing what we can at Downhills. We're offering some financial support. You have to put money into this legal case. We're doing what we can. We were pleased to have balloons that we can make and take on demonstrations. We can do that sort of thing. Also at Downhills, we are now contemplating... We have a ballot. We have a ballot for strike action at Downhills, where our members there are prepared to take strike action, we hope, against the forced conversion, supported by the parents there. It is another huge opportunity to take the campaign forward. In Birmingham, there are up to 30 primary schools being threatened with academy conversion, forced into the hands of private chains against the will of the school community. We are working with the NASUWT in Birmingham. We have finished a set, we're in the middle of indicative ballots. We've finished in some schools, we're still going on in others. We're anticipating that we're going to be balloting in many of those Birmingham schools against forced academy status, along with the NASUWT, and taking strike action over it in the summer term. There is a real opportunity for us to make this campaign come alive again. We're going to be suggesting from the National Union that at the right time in the summer term, maybe just after the Birmingham strikes if they happen, that we have national petitioning from every division. We're talking to Unison, who are going to jointly ban this with us. So we're going to ask every division to organise street centre petitionings against forced academies. I think we have an opportunity, because of the strength and the courage of the Downhills parents, that can spread out and we can make this campaign come alive again, and we have a real opportunity to expose the crass privatisation that Gove is up to. It's your commitment that will make that happen for us outside Downhills. It's your commitment of activists in the NUT that can make this happen. But I do think that we can this year, and I think we're going to see the Academies programme thrown back this year by our efforts.